regular person on a daily basis deal with stress by use of crystal sticks?
Stress has several different sources, but generally speaking, stress is a bodily response to this desire to take an action but you can't, or some sort of unfulfilled emotionality that's locking the body up. It could be a fear, it could be a variety of things, but generally speaking, it's this desire to act but you can't act. Stress compounds over time, and it accumulates in the body in the form of muscles knotted up. It accumulates in the body in the more that muscles knot up, the more difficult it is to unknot them, in the sense that they start to stick in place as a while, so you could have compounded stresses over periods of time. So the Crystal Stix will address stress, and does address stress in these ways. In order to, if you're stressed out, that means you may be present with your eyes open, but emotionally you're other places. So one of the ways that Crystal Stix addresses stress is that you have to be present to do the activity emotionally as well as physically and mentally. So you have to get behind the activity and get involved. You can't be someplace else with part of yourself when this thing's dropping, because you need all of yourself to make that real. Stress then, the management of stress then would be a program of activity on a regular basis. I would suggest maybe an hour each time, 3 times a week would be a good program. Certainly a half an hour at a minimum would be appropriate. If you are managing stress with Crystal Stix, and this is the kinds of things that you will find. The effects of Crystal Stix compound. At any one moment you're going to get a value from that, but as a result of doing sticks regularly, you start getting these compounded values. Stress literally is digested in a couple of ways. Number one, the Crystal Stick activity is an open-ended activity that can get faster and more excitational, and one of the tendencies people have in doing sticks is to get involved to the point that they get excited, and that excitation grows and grows and grows. If the stress that you have accumulating in your body is of a less intensity than the excitement that grows out of engaging yourself with the Crystal Stix activity, then the stress simply gets absorbed. You literally wring it out of your body and take it out and play. There may be certain kinds of stresses that are embedded to the point where you may have to come back and rethink about them and redigest them in layers so that you can finally work out things that may have been stuck in the body for a while. But daily stress can be digested in the sense that you get emotionally involved in the stick activity, you get excited, that excitation makes you get more excited, and the added excitation and the added excitement means more and faster motions and movements, and those movements then allow you to step outside of the stress, get involved, and the emotionality that was locked up in the stress then comes out in play. If you follow a good regimen of exercise, such as claiming the space around your body with physical movement and motion, then you will have an added benefit by having all that emotional release as well as muscle tone, and your attentiveness will be polished, because you have to get more and more attentive, which really means that you have to be more and more emotionally and mentally present for actions to take place. And if that's the case, then of course you'll become more successful, because you're more able to swing the vote, so to speak, or make things happen because you're more present. Emotional presence is something that's hard to measure, but we certainly know it when somebody has that vacant look in their face and they're gone someplace, even though they're here physically. But that is a degree kind of a thing. Somebody can be here with half of themselves, they can be here with almost all of themselves. Generally speaking, we're only in the 80% range at best, simply because part of us is always considering other things. In this case, you consider other things for a conversation, but if you're engaged in an activity, you don't have time to think about other things to bring them in. You're too busy acting on the moment. And emotionally, it's like getting involved so much in the moment that you have to give up all of the things that were constricting you before. It's like an emotional bath or an emotional shower, so to speak. You get so free and so exuberant that the stress patterns are effectively broken. So Crystal Stix addresses stress in a multiplicity of ways. It gives you physical exercise, it gives you emotional release, and it gives you mental clarity.